Legendary teams, major players, and electrifying tactical action are back in CSGO Regional Major Rankings 2021. From June 27th till July 4th, 10 teams will clash in the thrilling showdown for the prize pool of $100,000 and slots at the PGL Major Stockholm 2021. Who will win more rounds? Who will show the most furious play? And who will claim the major prize? Find out at the CSGO Regional Major Rankings 2021. And don't forget to reload.
Hello everybody and welcome to the StarLadder RMR for the CIS region. My name is Dinko, joined by Hawker for this one. It's my pleasure to be here, Hawker, because we're back with StarLadder. We're back with a big CS event that they're doing, and we've got all the best teams in attendance really here in the world. You know, CIS is so rich with talent now. Lots to get excited about. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm excited to see what some of the qualifier teams can do, because we were bringing it through the action in the qualifiers too. We saw some of those teams making it to the main event, and I think we have got a really competitive tournament on our hands. And in the past, some people said that maybe CIS wasn't going to be all that competitive. It used to always feel like it was Na'Vi at the top. Now there are a couple of teams who could feasibly win this event.
Yeah, definitely. The whole region is opened up completely. We have exciting top teams, but we also have some of these plucky underdogs. And I think that's reflected when you look at the RMR standings. And when you look at the RMR standings, they're all about getting as many points as possible, because there's only 5 spots available at the major for the CIS region. And when you have so many teams available, there's just such a competitive run to these top 5 spots. And right now, you take a look at the teams up there, and it's Team Spirit that are currently leading the way. Now, I think they've got a big target on their back right now, Hawk. Na'Vi, Gambit, Virtus Pro, they're coming to take that top spot off Team Spirit. And Akuma, I feel like their big performance in the previous RMR has put them up here, but you take a look at some of the teams in behind them, forZe, who are climbing the world rankings, Entropic, who have looked fantastic throughout the qualifiers. I think Akuma's spot's the one that's truly up for grabs right now.
Absolutely. And the nice thing is we have pretty much every team on this list here at this event. The only ones that haven't made it are Espada. They have been replaced by 100 Ping Gods from the qualifiers, but everyone else is in this tournament. So chances to go ahead and rearrange those rankings. If you finish above one of these teams, you can absolutely take them over. And I think those top 4 teams should all really be saying we should be solid and really making sure we finish in these spots to get to the major. But that 5th place spot right now is looking wide open, and that is very exciting coming into this tournament.
Exactly, because we're getting to the later stages of these RMRs. We kind of actually have a major coming up, which is something that we didn't have a lot last year. We had all these RMRs happening, but we never really knew if an event was going to be coming up. But now we're pretty confident it should be happening in November. So these RMRs obviously get more points as you go ahead into it. But we're going to jump right in and take a look at the groups that we've got. And taking a look at this, Hawker, we've got stacked groups in both A and B. Group A have got Na'Vi, they've got Gambit, Akuma, forZe, and Amiga. I think there's a clear 2 favorite teams in Group A right now. And then for Group B, Team Spirit, the top dogs in the RMR points. Again, they're going to look for a very good performance here to try and keep that top spot. And in below them in the group of Virtus Pro, Entropic, 100 Ping Gods, and K23. Which group are you most excited about? Which do you think is going to give us the most upset potential?
Oh, that's a good question. I think Group B's a little bit more wide open, especially with Entropic in there. I think they've got the best chance of causing some upsets. But I also think Group A has some really important matchups in it, especially Akuma against forZe, which we're actually going to have today, because those 2 teams are pretty close on the RMR rankings. And if you can get the win over your opponent here and maybe knock them out in the groups, that could be a huge swing in those RMR points.
You're exactly right? We were just talking about how that 5th spot overall in the RMR rankings is up for grabs. And Akuma, currently the team that have that spot, and forZe and Entropic, they're the 2 teams that are most likely to overtake them. And that is going to be a very fun game to look at. That's here on this B stream. We've got 2 streams running simultaneously. Over on the A stream, it's going to be Moses and Vince taking you through the action of 2 best of 3s. I believe they're starting with Gambit on the main stream, so lots to get excited about over there. But over here in Group B, I'm really intrigued about this, because really when you look at the tournament overall, it is that question mark about the 5th spot, and we're going to get to see most of that come through, Hawker.
Yeah, exactly. And there is going to be a lot on the line in this matchup, and you're going to get to see it so early on that these teams don't really have much of a chance to warm up. They've just got to go straight into it and show us what they can do. And we've already seen what forZe can do from the closed qualifier, where they won 2-2-0s to get here, didn't even drop a map. They looked really solid in that qualifier.
Oh, they did, and I think coming into this, forZe have just really started climbing the rankings, get a little bit more comfortable with their team. If you haven't watched forZe in a very long time, you will notice some differences in the roster. They've got rid of FaceCrack and they've got rid of Zapower. And they brought in Zorte as the AWPing prowess, and Kenzie has come into the team as well. I've been impressed by both players, I think. Zorte is a very different AWPer in comparison to what they had before, so their playstyle is a little different around him. And Kenzie's impressed me just with his stability as a solid rifler. So I'm a fan of this current forZe roster. I think this addition of them is a little bit more refined. And then over for Akuma, take a look at these players. They kind of made a name for themselves in the last RMR Hawker.
Yeah, they did. And specifically, Sensei really has been the standout for this squad. He's the guy that has been putting up ridiculous numbers recently. Even at that RMR event, he had a 1.34 rating over at Epic League. So we've got to see if he can keep that up, because he is definitely the main man to watch out for. But they round out the roster with some solid pieces as well. I like DemQQ as an aggressive rifler. I think he's got a lot to offer us here. Sergiz is another solid player. They've got a lot of good, solid pieces on this team, but Sensei's the main man.
I'm focusing in on their opponent forZe. I have to say, coming into this, forZe are going to be the favorites. I don't think anybody can deny, even though they're behind in RMR points, forZe should definitely be the favorites to take this. On paper, you look at the roster, number 17 in the world by the HLTV ranking right now as well. forZe have definitely been making a steady climb up, and it feels like with the time now that they've had with these new players, it just keeps getting better and better. And we often see forZe, the history used to be a little bit inconsistent, never really lived up to the expectations. Qualifiers would get so close, but then they just wouldn't make it through the last match. But in that StarLadder qualifier we just cast in the closed qualifier for this event, forZe did not disappoint. They showed up and they delivered.
Yeah, easily. They came through, and it didn't even look too uncomfortable for them at any points, right? They had a win against EC Kiev to begin with, which we expected. We kind of expected that might be a 2-0, but it was against K23 that we thought the game could be a bit closer. I don't think K23 were at their best, but it's still important to have that professional performance and to show up and get the win, and they did just that.
Well, to give us a better view of this matchup and what is about to play out, we're going to take a look at the map video. We're going to hop into the video itself. When you're looking at the video, Hawk, have you got any theory crafting before we just quickly jump into this one?
Ooh, it's a good question. I think we can just get into it, to be honest, because looking at these teams, I expect Akuma won't want to play Ancient. They haven't played it so far.
Yeah.
forZe have played it quite a few times. So there's a couple of obvious things. I think forZe probably get the Vertigo out of there, and then we get to go from there, and we should get to see basically whatever most teams most comfortable with picking, because you should know those bans are coming through.
Yeah, well, we're going to hopefully get to see the video very, very shortly, because we are just a few moments away from getting this one. And, I mean, when we take a look at the two matchups, when you look at forZe, I think obviously their map pool is going to be a little deeper in terms of the practice they've had. Jerry is an in-game leader, one of the strongest in the region, right? When you look at Jerry overall, I think he is one of those players that stands out to me as probably one of the very few IGLs in the CIS region. As much as they have great players, it feels like some of these IGLs have fizzled out. It's not so much of a traditional IGL. Some of the teams like Gambit having different players step up, Nafni coming through. We've got just a few good IGLs, and Jerry's certainly one of them. But here we are into the map video. It's Vertigo that's been banned out first for forZe.
That's what you'd expect to see. That's the map they don't play. And then Akuma go ahead and get rid of the Ancient, which is exactly what you'd expect. So now the picks are a little more open for both teams here. And wow, straight in, forZe go for the Overpass. That is a map they do play a lot. We saw them actually play that in the closed qualifier against K23. And normally that's meant to be a strong map for K23, but they beat them 16-9 on it. So I think their recent form on Overpass has been good. Then we get the Inferno pick from Akuma, which has also been a strength of theirs. They were on a big winning streak on this map up until the other day, actually, where they finally took their first loss on it in the last 3 months, going up against Double Pony in a really close game. And then as the decider, I could see it going either way, honestly. I think we probably see forZe ban Nuke. It's normally a Mirage that they probably prefer as the decider. In fact, forZe like picking Mirage sometimes. So if they get Mirage as the decider here, which they will, I think forZe are really happy with this veto.
It looks good for them. It definitely does coming into this forZe. They used to not be such a comfortable team on Overpass, but I like that this version is a little different. I think Zorte's ulting ability and his playstyle changes how the map plays for them. Power used to commit to a lot of these fights, and he would never really be able to get much longevity out of him. He would maybe just get one kill, one opening, maybe even two at times. But I think with Zorte's ability and his playstyle just naturally, it suits the Overpass CT side a little better, and I feel much more confident in the consistency of the CT sides of forZe over on Overpass, so I'm definitely interested to see that. We look at Akuma and we look at the recent results, Hawker, and they only really lose to some pretty decent teams, right? You get some little outliers in terms of losses against Hyenas, but they're beating most of these good teams in the CIS region. They're challenging like the likes of Navi last tournament. They had great wins against everybody you would expect to be sort of the weaker teams in the CIS region. They don't really drop the ball, and they haven't recently. So when you look at results-wise, it's easy to maybe get a little thrown away and start to realize, okay, maybe Akuma coming into this one are just going to be a team who are always going to be getting these dark horse wins. But I think once you've had a breakout tournament like that, people start to focus on you a little bit more. Who are these guys? Because they let you go under the radar for the first tournament, but they're going to focus in on you in the second. They're not going to let you get away with the same mistakes, not going to let you get away with the same little plays and gimmicks. And I think this is going to be a much more difficult battle for Akuma coming into this RMR. I think it's going to be a very different story.
Yeah, we see it quite a lot where a team maybe comes in for an event or two and does well, and then their opponents might start to figure them out. I actually think the old forZe lineup kind of had that issue at times where they hit their peak and then they could never get back there. And I think that's part of the reason why they made these roster moves, which so far seem to be working out pretty nicely for them.
They definitely do, and we focused in on Zorte, but we didn't really talk about Kenzie that much. I do want to quickly get your thoughts on Kenzie, because for me personally, I was questioning who this player really was. I'd seen him around this level, the lower levels in the CIS region, playing some of these online tournaments, looked okay, but when coming into forZe, I thought maybe this is just a risky pickup, but he seems to have fit in very well. I think he's quite consistent, which is really exciting, and you see a high skill ceiling when he does have those pop-off games as well, so he has a lot of room to grow, and that for me is very exciting with a project like forZe, who kind of stagnated a little bit, but now their ceiling gets risen again, and you get more excited about their future.
I think Kenzie's been solid. I don't think he's needed to be standout because of some of the other players you pointed out previously. You know, we haven't even really talked about Flit too much, who I think is the most consistent and the most ever-present player on this forZe lineup. There's a reason he's been in here so long. There's a reason why there's been rumors in the past of him maybe being looked at by other teams, such as Na'Vi. He's clearly a very solid and capable player. But then you've got Zorte on the AWP. You know, you've got Jerry who can frag as an IGL. And that means that as long as Kenzie's just doing a decent job and playing his positions well, not making too many mistakes, he doesn't have to stand out all the time. And like you said, when he has those games where he stands out, it can make a huge difference. And I think we are seeing that more and more as he gets more comfortable on this forZe team.
It's going to be a learning curve for sure for any young player that comes into a team like forZe. You're going to be playing against much higher opposition most of the time. Practice, even in the scrims, is going to be much more difficult than you're used to. So I think there's definitely a huge learning curve for the player like Kenzie. It seems to be adapting quite well. I have to say, I'm loving the production. We haven't really mentioned this just yet, but this is the secondary stream for StarLadder, and the consistency across the brand. I've seen it on the Russian broadcast, over the mainstream. StarLadder have done a great job of putting this all together. We've even got the beautiful background of Kiev behind us, Hawker, somehow. It's been a long time since we've been there, but we've got it behind us somehow. Feels like I'm on the news. I was saying this earlier in rehearsals. It really does feel like we're giving some sort of news updates on CSGO. I wouldn't mind doing that. That would be a pretty good job.
The real question is, how far are we going to go with this? Like, if it starts raining in Kiev, are we going to get a little bit of rain in the background, maybe? Maybe that's a bit too far.
I mean, I'd love that. True immersion, just like have the background of Kiev. And if it was moving, that would be incredible. But you know what is moving? This game. We're moving right into things. It's going to be Akuma and forZe taking each other on here at Overpass. Akuma on the CT side. They got a kit and a double flash here on Psycho. Let's see if we can go a little bit Psycho into this pistol. They certainly need a good start here. And Jackie peeking down in towards Monster. Spots the head of one. Kenzie is the first victim as Jackie goes back in for more. It's unable to find anything. He runs out of ammo. I don't know how he's still alive though. Finally he goes down. Jerry gets him out of play. And now Sergey's peeking out, keeping it a 3v3. A chaotic start to the pistol round, but the bomb finally comes in.
Bomb planted and Psycho gets swung by Jerry. They're still going for fights. Flit's able to trade, and it's all on Sergis. He has a lot of time to work with, but a 1v2 is still not going to be easy as he tries to reposition. Oh, I think he was spotted.
Yeah. Spotted, and with the time limited, no kit on his back right now. He has to jump into water. They know where he is now. They double peek into him. Actually, Flit doesn't even need to peek. He's just playing with his food, and Sorte swings out. A kill for him, and the round for forZe. T-side get a good start here. forZe, I have to really back up what I said a little bit earlier on in terms of how different they are at Overpass now. I used to never be confident. When we see an Overpass pick him in from forZe, I just never was confident in it. But now I actually get excited when I see forZe here in Overpass. And if they get off to a good start, this T-side, we know what forZe can do when they start to run away with rounds. They can just keep going. They're a bulldozer, and it's really difficult to stop forZe.
I think that pistol round was a good example of a couple of forZe's positives too. Firstly, just the fragging prowess of Jerry as an IGL. He is, really solid. So is Sensei, though. He's landed the deed shot at long range. But the second thing I wanted to point out was that Flit was just right there behind Jerry. Those two clearly have a really good understanding of each other's games. Flit was able to trade his teammate, got set up for success, got set up for the late round scenario. But because Jerry got those early kills, he wasn't even really needed there. They've got to make sure they're not too ahead of themselves, though, on the forZe side. They're up against Deegs, and that's a nice way of getting some damage back onto Sensei.
Yeah, that's quick. Quick reactions. Whack-a-mole. World Championship right there. And Sergey's now getting aggressive in towards middle. Almazer's around the wall here at Divider. 45 seconds left. forZe are down a player. Haven't been able to pull that back yet. That does start to worry me a little bit. They need a couple of kills here, and another kill has gone in the favor of Akuma. They've now got a Galil out of it as well. Shadow spotted for Flit. Is he ready for the second? He is. He reacts quick enough, and Jerry with the kill onto the A site. Bomb will go down, and forZe seem to have recovered things. It's not done yet, but right now it is looking much better.
Oh, another shot from Jerry, who's looking sharp to start this game. And Mr. Ever-Present, as we called him earlier, Flit comes through with 2 important kills of his own. Jackie's not really got a chance here. Not going to get given any fights at the end. Really good rebound from forZe, and starting to see why they picked Overpass. I think oftentimes they do like the Mirage pick, but it's such a strong map for both teams here that neither side wanted to take the risk of picking Mirage in this best of 3. They leave that as the decider. And so I'm glad that forZe have another good option for themselves. As you pointed out, this Overpass has looked much better for them lately. And Flit and Jerry both off to good starts. Solid stuff so far.
Yeah, solid stuff. Obviously, in the second round forZe buys, a lot of teams just lose players. The most important thing is you don't lose the round out for forZe, and you can take a deep breath, a sigh of relief. Those rounds are some of the most difficult to win in the current meta of Counter-Strike. We see so many teams, even the top level ones, lose those consistently. But these kind of rounds can just be as deadly. It's Sensei with a good opening in towards short. Luckily, Flit has got out Monster. There's a couple of players now, and Flit has to choose his angles wisely. He gets a nice double kill, but he's low on health, so he sends Kenzie in instead. And Kenzie gets the double. QQ down, and Sergey's crumbles with him. It's just Sensei left alone, and he's got to be next level. He needs to be a Sensei. He needs to take on 1v4, and Flit, he was still low in health, but gets the 3K. And it's forZe who have got 3 rounds in a row as well. Akuma finally getting a buy money in. I'm looking forward to seeing if we get the AWP out here for Akuma, because they've gone for the AWP here quickly on forZe. Zorte has got it in play.
Yeah, Sensei, I think, is absolutely going to go for that AWP. Basically, whenever he has the chance to. He is one of those players, one of those AWPers, who seems to be very reliant upon that AWP at times to do a lot of his damage. I was looking at the stats recently, actually. It is 63% of Sensei's kills that come from that AWP. And then a fair few come from the AK at times when he has to rock it. But I definitely think Sensei's at his best when he can get that AWP out. And we pointed out that he can be the main standout for Akuma with a 1.36 rating in the last 3 months. Ridiculous numbers, but we've got to see if it can continue to translate against some top CIS competition and some informed forZe players right now. Flit's already got the Fames John, as I call it, Dinko, the reverse James Bond scoreline. He's 7-0-0 right now.
I like it, Hawker. You got to coin that one. I think Blair was trying to... Oh my god, okay. Sensei. Still too far off the wall by. But Blair, who will be on the stream in a few weeks, maybe a few days. I have no idea when Blair's coming up, but he will be here at some point. Tried to coin the terms of all the different agents within the Bond world. So, you know, he's even got ones for 006, which I believe is called the Bean, because I think Sean Bean was the agent 006. So,
right.
Yeah, he's gone next level on that stuff.
Fair play, fair play. I appreciate the creativity, I guess. I mean, he's not come up with it. He's just nicked it. But yeah, you
can tell
he's watched too many Asian CS
game.
games. Yeah, exactly. Where he's noticed a player 006 and he's tried to think of something.
He's like, oh, there's nothing to talk about here. What can I say? But yeah,
there's not been much to talk about in this round, honestly. This is what Overpass can be sometimes, though. Very slow pace. And now forZe have got to make sure the late round play is really well executed.
Well, they have flashes at the ready, and Jerry is looking to set it up through the monster peak, and Flit will be the front man in the charge. He's been really solid at just choosing the angles wisely when he comes out of here, but with this CT setup, I don't see it working so well for him. It should be going down, but Flit is so quick on the headshot. Demku goes down, out of play, and Flit gets traded quickly. 3v3 right now, 10 seconds is all forZe have to play with, and Jeky's still inside of the Psycho kill onto Zorte. Bomb plant starts to come in, and they have to stick onto it. Jeky not going for the denial of the plant, instead tries to get around the side of the pillar. He's taking damage in the shadow spotted, but he runs out of ammo, and Kenzie somehow gets the 3K, and the round win goes to forZe.
And you're right, it looked so good for Akuma initially with how they were set up. Little time left on the clock. forZe have almost all their players focused on Monster, while Psycho was peeking into B short, into water. He was playing behind the sandbags, so he got a free kill onto the one player who was trying to come in from short. You think that with Akuma only having to focus on Monster, they could lock it down with a crossfire, but forZe landed some really impressive shots. They absolutely had to land some quick headshots. They definitely delivered, and Flit is still delivering into this next round. Another quick kill. He's feeling it right now.
Yeah, Flit is on one. 9-1. Just watching him run out Monster and just know all of the angles so easily. Like, he doesn't even have a second to question himself. He's just so clean right now. Kenzie's had a good round in the previous and now continuing that into this one as well. It's just Psycho, Demku, and Jeky left alone, and Kenzie walking up into the site. He has lost Flit. That's the second death so far, and Kenzie walks into the open. Jeky getting one of the deagle, looks out long, does damage. They should be under too much pressure to get much more out of that. This is a team that has found an AK, and the flank, he nearly gets lucky on the lineup, but couldn't quite get the second. And now with the flash down, the smoke in play, the safe plant can come into default. Demku, he might have a chance to win this round. He gets forward with the AK, no kit on his back, but he has got 100 HP to play with. There's all the close positions, even jump spots, and now uses the smoke to try and isolate it into a 1v1 fight at flank. And that might work for Demku, but with forZe playing so disciplined, that is going to draw the time so low. And like I mentioned, no kit right now for Demku. He's got to hope for a mistake of forZe, and there's the peek up the stairway, but this time is ticking, too far gone. And Zorte is just hitting away for the round win, and now swings out for the deagle as well. 5-0 for the forZe side. Just flawless right now. There are little moments where you start to sweat a little bit, but they're just getting all the round wins over the line, even if it is close, so you can't really complain about that.
Super smart from forZe in that post plant too. I think when you know that Akuma are on that half fight, you know that they're not going to have a kit. I like the way Almeza initially was spamming towards the bomb. So if he'd have landed some shots, he maybe would have realized the player was still on the bomb. He may have been able to hear that those shots were landing. But instead, he just uses a lot of time realizing that with a 10-second defuse, he can burn as much of the clock as possible, just making sure that Akuma wouldn't get any silly 10-second defuse, and then his teammate can come in and secure the round. So, well played in the end by forZe. They stay composed in a round that came a little closer than they may have wanted. So far, so good for forZe, but they're about to be tested by this double AWP setup. Switch up coming in from Akuma. One of those AWPs will be playing on A. That's the primary AWP of Sensei, but that secondary AWP will be playing on B, and Sergiz getting a bit more aggressive now for Akuma.
This could work, a little bit of a change-up. Let's see if Sergey is going to be hit by that Molotov, so they now know he's close. At least that audio cue should have given that away. They're looking for him. Kenzie's coming around. It's a quick shot from Zorte. I appreciate Sergey's attempt. He tried to commit to it. He just cannot get anything out of it. Now Sensei losing his teammate, losing that rifle support. He's got to think about which angle he should take, and he throws the smoke down. We do see a lot of AWPers try and create opportunities out of their own utility. And now that allows his teammate Psycho to play alongside him.
Oh, it's still a scary setup though, because of the 3 Ts on A long. They're going to have to likely give up the site here.
Yeah, right now, and you've got to deal, but they got the bomb. They've had the bomb right in front of them. That could be the deciding factor if they can get rid of it and keep it. Substantial amount of time, and they need these kills though, and I love the wrap from forZe. They just clear out the bathrooms, they play it together, they don't risk the bomb in that scenario, realizing, well, if there's no resistance from the site, it's likely that the players are in bathrooms. And so that instead of just going through one avenue and potentially losing the bomb and everybody having to fight individually, they call for the wrap around from long and through the other side of bathrooms, and because of that, you've got to fight a war on 2 fronts, and it doesn't really work out well for most people.
I think you're really right in that a lot of teams there would probably just try and focus the bomb plant. And as much as that is the obvious objective in Counter-Strike, sometimes you're actually in just such a good position. You've actually just got such a strong positional advantage that if you go ahead and take the fights, you're going to win those trade kills the majority of the time. You may deny the AWP. Oh no, DemQQ can't say that. Missed shot at the end there means that forZe take a 6-0 lead. They survive with everyone. They even take Akuma's AWP out. And at this point, if I were the Akuma coach, I would be thinking of calling a timeout before this next gun round.
I would certainly be calling for a timeout within, well, maybe even this round or the next, because this is looking dire for Akuma. And the last round reeked of desperation as well, because they went for the double AWP setup straight away. And usually when you're going for those kind of investments, you're trying to do anything that works. The aggression being thrown into middle. They're trying everything, and it's just not working right now for Akuma. And because you are investing so much in those rounds, you do run the risk of being in these sort of situations quite often. You're just down on a couple of upgraded pistols. Luckily, they're good on Deagles. I think that most of their kills have been on Deagles so far.
Maybe they can make this round competitive then. DemQQ playing close on long. Looking for another Deagle kill, and he's got one. Kenzie taken out of there. Zorte has to try and force the trade with the Deag of his own. He's able to do it, but forZe remain a man down.
And look at the rotation coming up. They're going to hear this as well. Flit trying to take a couple of fights. He might just think about throwing the smoke down. Let's go B. Let's get out of here. Had the rotation, seen the players inside of the site. Zorte's leaving long. They're running to B. They're trying to escape down into the B bomb site, and they should be able to do that. Akuma have got to get this rotate coming in. utility doesn't go up towards heaven. In fact, it has. It was earlier thrown by Jerry. I didn't quite spot that going over the top, but Sensei's got down here quickly. Jerry somehow spots him, somehow gets away with a kill. And forZe once again are turning this round in their favor. It looks so dire to begin with, but these mid rounds have been calculated. They stay composed yet again, and they're getting the important kills. Damage done again for Akuma. But another round that slips through their fingers. One that could have been a catch. But once again, forZe, just the composure in the mid rounds and the late rounds, Hawk, have just been something to marvel at. They always find the way out.
Jerry's calling a great game right now. That's, I think, the round that really epitomizes it, but all the calls up until this point have been solid. I think that they've read the standard game plan and the game flow from Akuma really well. StarLadder, oh no, he doesn't even get to save again. Not ready for Flit to peek him from long. But yeah, I think they've just read the game plan of Akuma really well. Like in the first gun round, forZe goes slow, expecting the default setup. That's exactly what ends up coming through from Akuma, because normally you are going to run a default in your first CT gun round. Then we see a switch up with a bit of aggression in the next gun round. But again, forZe are ready for it. They catch out that party aggression early. Just feels like Akuma are trying switch ups at common times almost. When one thing goes wrong for them in the previous round, they try and switch it up in the next. But forZe are kind of expecting those switch ups ahead of time.
Obviously, we mentioned how Jerry is calling an excellent game right now, but also just look at the individual performances out of some of these players. Flit in particular, 12-2, 9-3 on Jerry as well. He's not only just calling a great game, he's playing a great game as well, individually speaking. And throughout the closed qualifier, a lot of you guys at home obviously didn't get to see that, I'm sure. But Almazer was the player for me that was just really exciting because he was consistent across the entire close qualifier. And when Almazer shows up, it's that X factor, it's that little bit of spice that adds into the mix of forZe that makes them so deadly. And he doesn't even have to do anything right now.
Oh, that molly. Wow.
He's got the nade
Loads
as well.
of damage. Oh, and the nade actually gets it. I thought it might be too high, but I think it rolled down enough. StarLadder's picked off early. It's another round where forZe get a clear and convincing man advantage.
Another play comes into the B side. Psycho taking out a play. Almazer following up. It's just MQQ and Sensei have to go for the safe call. I mentioned Almazer. I said he didn't have to do much, and in this round gets the double kill. Jerry secures his 10th. And for Akuma, it's another round where they have to run away. This is not the start to the RMR they were hoping for.
And when forZe are getting those man advantages, they seem to just be converting them every time right now. If anything, Akuma have technically won a couple of opening duels at times, but I feel like whenever Akuma have got the early kills, forZe have either been able to cool around it and use that information to push elsewhere, or they've been able to trade pretty solidly and make sure they stay in a good scenario. So really well done from forZe right now. They are halfway to victory, and it feels like the game's barely started. So that is very impressive.
When you put it that way, it's actually kind of depressing for Akuma. I haven't really seen any signs of them wanting to slow things down, go for a pause, just try and reset. This is just been relentless domination from forZe, and let's see if that continues. I think there is some positives here for Akuma. Some of the rounds have come close, right down to 1v1s, 1v2s. It's not like they didn't have opportunities to win rounds. They just got to get themselves into those situations and stop leaving openings for forZe to turn it around. The best rounds so far have been those Deagle rounds. And obviously in the end, you get those two opening picks, but you never have the weaponry or the resources to close out the round. You need to be able to get some of these openings in the rifle rounds, and they might just be able to get that here, but as soon as I say that, Kenzie is so ready, and with the flash assist from Flit, he's able to take down one and the second almost quickly. This is a gun round for Akuma, and they're just melting.
forZe are so scary right now. They just know they're better. That's honestly what it feels like. And that confidence goes a long way. I'm sure some of that just come from their strong start that they had, but Really great to see forZe showing up so strong, so early on into this game. I mean, you look over at the mainstream right now, you know, Nemiga are actually up against Gambit, and they're winning 6-3. So to see forZe come into the game that we thought would be more competitive and just blow Akuma out so far, so impressive. MQQ trying to save. I think, again, he may be hunted down, though. Oh, he is actually going to die to the bomb. They just can't save any of these guns,
No.
Dinko. It never works.
There's just nothing positive going for Akuma. It is so rough right now out there for Akuma. Ugh. I'm trying to find positives. I came up with probably the only positive I've seen in the last round, and it's just the fact that maybe in these Deagle rounds, they're at least getting them close. They're at least doing a lot of early damage, getting those opening kills. They're keeping them for the most part, but just never really amounting to much in the end. And this time, oh, Zorte, so ready for the wallbind. The headshot perfectly pre-aimed up towards DamQQ, and Zorte's not done. He wants another one. They've often had a player at long in these Deagle rounds, so they're ready for the close play. The flashes go over the top. Sensei was so close, and the body shot alongside the headshot quickly taking Kenzie down. But Zorte getting the trade kill. Psycho's good in the water. It's a decent position from him, but Almeza hits enough shots, and Jackie not getting anything. And because he misses those shots, that allows Jerry to walk out of Monster and up into short to save his teammate's day. It's just Sergey's left alone, and this round, again, is a done deal. forZe 10-0.
And I think the hardest thing to do for Akuma is to try and just have this scoreline and this slow start not affect them. But it's something that the best teams can do, is just realize, okay, yeah, sure, we're 9-0 down. We've had a bad start, but we've just got to focus on the round at hand. And that's one of those rounds where I kind of feel like Psycho in that position, if it's a different game, if it's an earlier round with the Deeg there, I feel like he might just get that kill. Because he had a really good position for that fight against Almeza. Just didn't look as confident in the fight as you'd want him to be. Ended up just kind of fluffing his lines slightly. Almeza got away with one, and then forZe were able to turn it into the round win. Super solid stuff from forZe right now, and we're seeing why they picked this Overpass. And with the maps that they have left in this series, forZe are going to be comfortable throughout. They can play Inferno, and they're a really good Mirage team. So for Akuma, they're not exactly going to be finding it much easier. I mean, obviously Inferno's their pick, but if forZe play like this, man, this could end 2-0 if this keeps on going.
That's what I was saying before we got into the video, right? forZe have a huge advantage when it comes to map pool. They have quite a deep map pool. And for teams like Akuma, that could be a big issue, especially if you're just losing this opening fight again and again. We just finished the replays of watching Zorte get the mid pick, and he just gets another one straight away just a few moments later. So, great start again for forZe. Jerry has been so confident. No one's really been able to stop him. He's going up into short again. And you brought up the point about that duel in towards water against Almeza in the last round. Those little fluffing your lines moments, alongside not winning any of these clutches, not winning any rounds, it's going to kill your confidence. And any sort of confidence you had coming into this, or the mindset that you had coming into this, it's gone. You've got to really dig deep mentally to get back into things here. I think that's going to be probably the most difficult part. It's just shifting that mindset to actually think about how we can approach winning rounds here. Ooh.
This could be nice from Sergiz. Bit of well-timed aggression. He's actually slipped through the cracks, and right now the bomb's back on B, but forZe don't realize there's a man cutting off their rotate through connector. They're going to take the bomb through spawn, but this will take so much time, and Sergiz may even hear those steps.
Oh, he's gone back up the stairs. Oh no, he's going to find the bomb. Zorte ready for it, but not ready enough. Sergey takes the bomb down, and now Flit hears two players running up short, but it's all about recovering that bomb back. He hears the CTs trying to help out, but Flit is going to go down, and there's just not enough time here for forZe. Finally, it's going to be a round here for Akuma. It's been a long time coming, and it's off the back of a heads-up play from Sergey. He's just getting aggressive, getting a timing, taking a risk, and this time it finally pays off.
Nicely done to make sure he denies that bomb in that position, but as you pointed out, the real moment there came where he actually got into that position in the first place. And I think that was needed because I pointed out earlier how Sensei is normally just everything for this team. And he's been trying to force the same sorts of fights he likes to take, and he's not been winning them with that AWP in towards mid. So they needed one of their riflers to make a play like that. It's a nice way of winning their first round. They've got to try and do more, though, and this time the flash is successful. They're able to win an early fight and get away safely, and they've rarely done that on the gun round so far.
Oh, Jerry.
And it's all gone.
Yeah. That's the easiest kill you could ever find. Jackie just gives it away. Jerry's getting more opportunities. Luckily, gets traded out without getting both of the kills in towards the B side. That would have been the round done if Jerry gets away with both that. It's still a 3v3 thanks to the trade kill onto Jerry, but there's now under a minute left. Akuma don't really have a whole lot of map control right now, so they don't have all the info in the world. Luckily for them, though, they do have two players posted on the A side, and that's where forZe are going. Mesa comes right into the crosshairs. Sergey Sensei with his AWP secures another round here as Sorte starts to back off. The bomb not in his possession, not enough time, and to really feel comfortable about going for this. So he's going to leave the round and give it over to Akuma. And the best case scenario for Akuma is, of course, getting 5 rounds at this half, and that is doable. And if you get 10-5 when it was 10-0, I would not complain about that.
That's obviously what they've got to aim for right now. I think for forZe, not too much different in the way they approach that round. I like that they went silent after getting the early trades and bringing it into a 3v3. They basically forced Akuma to kind of guess. Obviously, they're going to take an educated guess, but they had to basically just put 2 players on one of the bomb sites, whichever they thought was most likely for forZe to hit. And Akuma got the right read this time. They had the 2 players stacked on A. I love that aggressive angle into the bathrooms. It's a good little off angle to hold to just get away with 1 kill, especially in those scenarios when you're in a 3v3 and you know that you just need to get that 1 kill to give your team a great advantage. I think it's a really good position to play from. So well done by Akuma. Another round on the board. But they've still got to deal with more gun rounds because forZe were so rich after all those round wins.
Yeah, they've been making some solid investments. forZe have been building up their portfolios, and they've still got money in the bank right now. Even if they lose this again, there's definitely a luxury to have.
No point in taking that money to the grave, Dinko, you know? Might as well spend it.
Yeah, exactly.
Before the half ends.
Yeah, just go for it. Spend everything, make it rain. Shots going through the smoke at Monster. Psycho has been dealt a lot of damage. He's down to 35 HP. There's a minute left on this clock. Jackie is in the corner on the left side of the Monster tunnel. They're going to play this setup between Jackie and Psycho. And Jackie was playing anti-flash, but now they decide to break out this setup, and Jackie's now left alone at Monster. It's still a very good spot for him. Good flash in from Psycho. Good double kill from Jackie.
Oh, and Psycho comes in with one of his own. That should help secure this one. Jerry's trying to move into the site, but even though he gets 1 kill, Psycho's able to trade his teammate. Sorte may have a smoke, but he's still got 2 players to deal with. A bit of time left on the clock, but I like this play from Psycho. He's wrapping all the way around Monster, and as Sorte plants in the smoke, he's going to have a really hard time getting away from this. He's looking for fights. Oh, I think they know where he is, though. Sorte about to be caught off guard. Smart play by Psycho to win the round.
Yeah, really smart play. You can see Sorte was just still fully focused on short. He didn't even think about Monster. Obviously, he's probably aware in the back of his head that that's a possibility, but he feels like the more likely approach to commit to is that short peek. Like you rightfully said, Psycho making the correct play. 10-3. On the board now, and it was a very good start to the round for Jackie. Brilliant flash in from Psycho. He was dealt a lot of damage early on and actually ended up being the most impactful player in the round for Akuma in the end. Gets the 3K. He's been quiet up until this point, but that's a big round to go loud in. Now we're getting to round 14. It really is a realistic possibility to watch this scoreline tick back into a 10-5. And if you're Akuma, feel good about that, because now they are starting to get comfortable.
Flashes over to the right-hand side of Monster. Jerry going to go in first and be that point man. Follow-up not there yet. Jerry's crossed all the way through, so that's something Akuma constantly have to be scared of here. A quick flash play could work, or just a fight given to him. Jerry with 2 entries onto B. Even though he's traded, he's done more than enough to put his team in a great position.
Oh, and look at Flint, just ready for this walkout of Connector as well. Damn QQ. His head topples. Now Sensei and Sergey have to pull off the round, and it's just not looking good for them. Kenzie with his AK has put them into a 4v1. 45 seconds left of round 14. And we might be finishing far quicker than that. Sensei just holding for some aggression, waiting for a force peak. The bomb plant still yet to come through. And this all still hanging around, still not falling back. He does start to fall back. Now you've got Almeza in that. Spam starting to come in. Sensei's got to feel a little pressure now. Looking for where those bullets are coming from. Gets confirmation. Is through the wood and even walks into Zorte. He was dead for anywhere he went there. If he goes back, there's a player flanking him. If he stands in front of the wood, there's someone spamming him. Yeah, he was just screwed right there.
I just think that's another good example of the slightly unorthodox plays that forZe run every now and then that just are really awkward to deal with. Now, I'm sure Akuma haven't had to practice too often against teams running one player out Monster to the right side and then using that player as the point man just from a different angle. It's just something you're not used to dealing with, and it can force mistakes. And they try and force the fight onto Jerry. They think they've got a favorable fight, but Jerry's there to beat them, and now Flit's there to beat them down again. Winning that fight on short early. Akuma on their last legs here in the last round of the first half, but they've got 1 kill back, and Jackie on the edge of the smoke all of a sudden turns the round in their favor.
This could be a much-needed round for Akuma. A little bit of a hero moment out of Jackie, and that's the deciding factors of a round. That can sometimes be enough. We'll see if forZe can somehow engineer a way back into this. We count them out in the first half many a time. They always found a way in the late round. Laser trying to win out the fight. He needed to win that, and he's done it. It's a little labored. It eventually does get his kill, just surviving on 3 HP. But where do forZe finish the round? They're going to throw smokes onto the A side. Look, for a second, they were considering Connector, but with the long play, they start to go up into the A side. And there's an AWP here at Van. And Molotov's going to go in behind Truck, and Sensei, he's not going to be forced by it. It just means he can't take a wide angle and look tighter, and now it spreads to him as well. Forced into the open. Kenzie takes him down, and now it's just Psycho and Jackie around. They had a man advantage for Akuma up until the crunch, and now it is all crunching down for Akuma. It's just Jackie left. And it's about to be 12-3 at the half, unless he can pull off a clutch. He's got his first headshot. No, Zorte close utility, brilliant flash, and in fact it is blinded Zorte. Not such a brilliant flash at all, as now Jackie's in with a shot. 3 HP on Almeza, bomb planted on the opposite side of the wall, and Almeza has to have balls of steel to win this round. And luckily, he is just weighed down so much that he's not even moving.
He's won it. He's already won it. It's so cool from Almeza. He even lands the shot at the end. Might as well get the stats as well, Dinko. Why not? He deserves it. He earns it. He gets his 6th kill at the half and gives forZe a 12-3 lead.
I don't know if Almeza's just stupid or straight up ballsy. That was unreal that he decides to hide around the wall like that, expecting the tap. If I'm the CT there, though, I'm sticking that bomb straight away. Just going for that. But
if he had the kit, I think he might have.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to get away with the 10-second defuse.
12-3 up. forZe with a fantastic first half, Hawker. You can't really say much about it other than just solid first 10 rounds, couple of risky ones towards the end. And now the pistol start is looking great for forZe. Almeza gets the opening, traded out cut quickly by Psycho, and Flick, luckily, getting kills in towards short. He gets away from it. Now the monster play starts to come in. Sensei with the headshot. Almeza's down. Luckily, Flick is just an animal.
Oh, Sensei trying to jump round. I like the attempt. The outcome not successful, though. Jerry up to 19 kills. I've been loving his calling. I've been loving his individual play. I honestly think for Flit there, that the round started somewhat awkwardly, and it didn't look as clean as you might expect Flit to be. But as the round progressed, started to land some more convincing headshots. Finally taking Psycho down at the end there to effectively secure the round. And Akuma do decide to full eco. They want at least one full gun round in this second half, because that might be all they get.
I respect it. But it does mean this round is likely to end in pure misery for Akuma. They can take this as a bit of a timeout. Often teams will do this. Slow round with the Glocks, walking around, taking the time, considering what they're going to do into a very important gun round up next. Because like you said, they're going to have very limited opportunities to get buy rounds. So you can't really lose any of them. You have to start sweating every opportunity you've got in front of you to even make this scoreline look respectable on map number 1. And the Glock trend starts to come into B. Jerry, you can see him salivating at the fact as eco kills coming his way, but it's Kenzie that is getting most of the kills. Cleaning up, even trying with the USP to end the round. Eventually Jerry is needed to help him out. 14-3, it is forZe. We're 2 rounds away from taking map number 1 of this RMR very, very quickly indeed. But here comes that buy for Akuma.
Oops. Don't know if you heard that. But we move on.
What happened?
Oh, I just accidentally dropped something on the floor, as you do.
No,
Happens to the best of us.
Holger. I wouldn't have noticed.
Okay. We move. Hopefully, Akuma won't be dropping this round. Hey, segue. We're going to get back into this one, and Almeza has got that nice nade lineup at the start. Not easy to do that.
Yeah, he
Pretty
does that
difficult to land
all
that.
the time. We've seen that in the closed qualifier, just pretty much every round. He'll do that CT side, just getting that nade in. It's really difficult to line up with the And Sergey getting a headshot. That's a good start to the gun rounds here, but Jerry's quick on the swing. This aggression down long working perfectly for the in-game leader. And Jerry's not done. He wants a 3K, and maybe that is a little bit greedy. Sensei puts him out of his misery, and now Jackie begins the misery train for forZe as they've suddenly lost the man advantage and are back into a 3v2, favoring Akuma.
Stacked both players in towards bathrooms, but Akuma seemed to be wise to that. They're bringing the bomb back to B, and Jackie's positioning connector is a really tough one to clear. If they do try and go aggressive, even if they win this fight, they probably concede the B site. We're already seeing those smokes land on the B site itself. Akuma are second-guessing themselves, though. They're not fully committing yet. And thankfully, Jackie wins that fight. Now they're going to commit to A or B. I don't know. It doesn't matter, because Flit's not on either site.
As the B site, the smoke wasn't that good either, but there's the B site tick coming in from Akuma. And like you said, Flit up here. He's attended his own birthday party at least. No one's turned up. It's very sad. I feel like Flit is the guy that wouldn't care though. You know, it's just he is the party.
I mean, I think you could see on the floor that people tried to turn up to his party.
Just got
It
killed.
was just a horrible accident.
Horrible birthday party accident. All right, don't attend Flit's birthday parties. That's what we've learned today. and don't trust Hawker carrying anything. You'll drop it on the floor.
Exactly.
Also, don't trust him Segway. You probably crash into something. You ever rode a Segway, Hawker? I've never had a go on those.
Absolutely not.
No, me either. Probably just fall flat.
I haven't
on my
even
face to
ridden
do
a
it.
bike in years.
Bro,
I don't even know if I could ride a bike now.
Yeah, no. I mean, you know what they say. It's like riding a bike.
I feel like I can forget how to ride a bike, though. I feel like my balance is going to be awful, and I'm just going to fall over. And they've just made that saying just to mess with me, you know?
Yeah, just give
I think
that
the world's
false
against
hope
me,
so we can all
Dinko.
video you and just laugh at you when you fall over. That's
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, it's a whole
conspiracy, man.
conspiracy. Yeah. It's all that. That
That would be
phrase has
such
just
a
been used
rubbish
for years.
conspiracy, wouldn't it? It's just the worst conspiracy ever.
Yeah, that is. I've heard some pretty bad conspiracy theories, but that actually is probably the worst one, which is saying something.
Oh, careful them, QQ. Those spams can be very effective. It's only FAMAS on the other side, so it won't do as much as it could have. The nade will certainly help, though, tickling a couple more players, but not too much damage done to Akuma early. Now we got the flash, though, as the boost goes up. And oh, Flit almost making some magic happen there mid-air.
It looked like they were going to consider a potential reboost, but it was just a little bit of a tease to me as they leave Flit to go back up to A. Kenzie's awaiting that late round boost. A lot of teams doing that now, just getting up on the boost late into the round, hoping to catch off CTs, but usually they're not all caught off guard. And the weakest weapon in play has just got a very important kill. Is forZe's Deagle in the hands of Almeza that's cracked open this round. And with 37 seconds left, the T is starting to gather over towards B. And it will be Jerry alongside Kenzie looking to hold on to the B-bomb site. Smoke into Monster will come, and that'll delay that attack, at least from that avenue. It looks like they're going to go heavy short anyway, so Jerry's FAMAS has to really deliver. He's got one using the cover well, and he's got Kenzie to try and back him up, but eventually both B defenders are traded out. But it's still the man advantage for forZe, and it's a big cleanup from Flit. 2 kills to close it out. 15-4 for the CT side of forZe, and they are just 1 round away from the most convincing scoreline of the day. Can you believe it? Map number 1 of the tournament. They're going to find it, Hawker.
It's actually a really nice round from forZe too, just in the late round there. Having that smoke for Monster means Jerry plays behind Pillar, and you see all those flashes from Akuma are not designed for a player playing behind Pillar, because normally people don't play there because you're so susceptible to Monster and you can't fall back. So Jerry just dodges all those flashes, gets an early kill, Flit's able to help him out from the other angle, and now Zorte is even going for more. forZe getting the kills so quickly, I can't even keep up.
If you would be able to if you knew how to ride a bike, Alex. You know, if you weren't walking everywhere, you'd be fine. But a little slow here. But Sensei gets his head shot. Almeza does get decapitated, but Sensei's going to need a lot more of that. Sensei looks into the fountain. Kenzie with his ult closes it out. Convincing from forZe, to say the least, on map 1 of the series. I always used to say, when forZe would pick Overpass, it was an up and down road. But this is so convincing from them. I'm loving the new playstyle they've got here. Flit, just amazing entries. He was just on one in that first half. And the amount of great mid-round calls and late-round calls coming out of Jerry was enough to get them the win, I think. Once you go down 10-0, it's very difficult to come back from that.
Yeah, I love that Flit is getting so active, as you pointed out. I think in the past, he would sometimes always like to play his own passive and more reserved play style. But in this game especially, you could just see he felt like he was the best player on the server so early on. He was just taking fights. And I think that's what he needs to do. If he's that confident, if he really thinks he can just go ahead and beat anyone in a 1v1 duel, he should go for those fights because his aim is really good. He is a really smart player, so I think he's going to go for well thought out aggression as well. And all in all, I don't think you can have any complaints about that if you're a forZe fan. They go unbeaten in the closed qualifier, and then they go ahead and win their first map of the main event, 16-4.
Yeah, and there were questions coming in about Akuma into this tournament. I don't think they're getting the answers they want right now. A lot of maybe some people who are back at Akuma right now, that's not really been the most convincing starts from him. But it is going to be time for a short break, and we'll see if they can bounce back as we head into map number 2. It's going to be Inferno. It's Akuma's map pick. We'll see if they can do a little bit better than they did here on Overpass. Might be a little bit easier, but we'll see after the break. Don't go anywhere.